Continuing with our class or lecture on the trigonometric identities. The trigonometric identities. Before we ended the class in our previous lecture, I said that our knowledge of some of these basic identities will help us in solving higher problems in this same particular concept. So let us consider some other trig functions. Let us consider other trig functions. The first one we'll consider is sec square theta. Remember what sec is? Sec is secant and is the inverse of our cos theta. Is that okay? So cos theta, 1 over cos theta will give us sec theta. So sec square theta equals 1 plus tan square theta. Now the second one is sine 3a. Remember, a could be theta, it could be any angle whatsoever. So if we have sine 3 theta or sine 3a, the trig function will be equal to 3 sine a minus 4 sine cube a. Now the third one is, if we have sine 3 theta, we can also have cos 3 theta, which is equal to 4 cos 3a, cos cube a, minus 3 cos a. It's just like the inverse of sine. Okay? Now, I told you not to bother yourself with the derivations of these identities. For your level, is that okay? When you go higher, you can now consider how all these trigonometric identities are formed, especially those studying engineering and mathematics and statistics. But for your level, we'll just consider the trigonometric functions as they've been solved for us. Is that okay? It's the applications that we need now. So the fourth one is that cot square theta. Remember what cot is? Cot is equal to 1 over tan theta. So cot square theta plus 1 equals cosec square theta. Now, having said all this, I would like us to consider the example below. Consider sine 105 degree. So we should find sine 105 degree. Of course, in the sum and difference of trigonometric functions that we discussed in our last class, I think I made mention of this particular relation, which I said that it takes the form sine A plus B. And sine A plus B is simply equal to sine A cos B plus cos A sine B. Right? So how do we separate these 105 degrees to two different angles? We can do that by saying sine 105 degrees is equal to sine 60 plus 45 degrees. Right? So let's say A equals 60 degrees and B equals 45 degrees. It will also give you the same thing if you make A to be equal to 45 and B to be equal to 60. You still get the same answer. Is that okay? So sine 105 would definitely be equal to sine 60 cos 45 plus cos 60 sine 45 degrees. And from the special angles, from our special angles, we know that cos sine 60 degrees equals root 3 over 2. We know that cos 45 equals 1 over root 2. We know that cos 60 equals 1 over 2. And sine 45 equals 1 over root 2, or root 2 over 2 rather. Because if you rationalize this now, we have times root 2 over root 2. So this is root 2 over root 4. It's also equal to root 2 over 2. Okay? Now, since this has been said, we can decide to evaluate 105 now. Sine 105. Therefore, sine 105 is equal to sine 60 is root 3 over 2 times 1 over root 2 plus cos 60 is 1 over 2 times sine 45, which is 1 over root 2. You have to be very careful in substitution so that you don't make mistakes. So this gives us root 3 over 2 root 2 plus 1 over 2 root 2. Right? And if you take the LCM, which is 2 root 2, you have this to be equal to root 3 plus 1. And root 3 plus 1 over 2 root 2 is equal to 0.9659. So if you check your calculator and type sine 105, it must definitely give you 0.9659. Is that okay? And this is the final answer. I'll leave you with 2 exercises so that you can play around with. So class activity. I like giving class activities because it will help to further buttress what we've discussed in class. Okay? So using the trig identities, using the trigonometric identities, evaluate number 1, cos 255 degrees, and number 2, evaluate tan 165 degrees. With what we've discussed, I'm sure you should be able to solve these 2 problems. But if you have any challenge, you can let me know by dropping them in my handle, and I'm going to attend to them as soon as I see it. I just want to encourage you that any problem you cannot solve, you can share it amongst yourself in your study group. I'm sure 1 or 2 persons will be able to solve the problems for you. That is why we have the community of like-minded people like you. Is that okay? So when you guys come together, discuss important matters, discuss things that you don't understand, and let us together make sure that we have A's in all our courses. See you in our next class.